So let's start working on this game screen now. And we get a couple of things that should be added there. For example, the main thing that's happening on this screen is that our phone, so the program in the end, the app, is guessing a number, and then we have controls to tell the program if the number is too high or too low. Therefore, we definitely need to output the guessed number, and we need to derive the guessed number as a first step. Then we need to output the controls that allow us to provide feedback to the program, and then we need to recalculate a new number based on that feedback. In addition, I want to log all the rounds we had in the game, so I want to log the different guesses that have been made. Therefore, here in the game screen, we will definitely need a view to group all these different UI elements that we need. So we'll have this main view, and then in there, I want to have a text where I say opponent's guess. This is just a title, but I want to have this kind of title here. Then below that, I want to have the actual guess being output. And yes, we can't add text like this in a view, but this is just a placeholder. We'll add a nice component that shows the guess by the opponent here. And then below that, I want to have another view which holds the controls that we have to tell the opponent, the program, whether the guess was too high or too low. So here we could have another text where we say higher or lower. And then below that, we have our two buttons where we basically show a plus or a minus to indicate whether it's too low or too high. These are also just placeholders. We'll add real buttons instead soon. And then below all of that, we'll have another view where we log our rounds. So that's the general structure with plenty of placeholders that we have here. And we'll have to fill those placeholders step by step, and we'll have to style this overall screen step by step. And I'll start by styling this view that wraps everything. I want to make sure that we don't have the content crammed up to the edges here. Instead, it should be centered, it should be clearly visible on the screen. And of course, for that, we can use good old Flexbox. So we'll add a style sheet here in this game screen component as well, and create the styles constant, which then will hold a style sheet that is created with the create method. And then here in this style sheet object, I'll add a property named screen. Name, as always, is up to you though, which gets flex1 to make sure it takes up all the available space instead of just the space needed by the content of the element that receives this property. We want to take all the available space instead. And I'll already add some padding, let's say 12 pixels, to make sure that we add some distance in all directions so that we have some distance to the device edges. Now for the moment, that's it. For a start, that's good enough. And then I'll add this style to this view as we did it many times before, like this. If we save this, I get an error, of course, because I have these texts here, which must go into texts. And I'll just comment those placeholders out because they are just meant to be used as placeholders, not as actual text. I also have this text, of course. Let's comment this out as well. Now, with that, finally, if I go to this screen, we have this extra content, but it's actually still in the top left corner. Now, actually, there is some padding here. As you can tell, if I ramp up the padding to 40, now it's moved in further, but 12 pixels wasn't enough. Now, we didn't have the problem here on the start game screen, because on this screen, we do add quite a lot of margin to the top. We could add this here as well on this game screen, but actually I want to introduce a new component that is very useful when it comes to adding some distance to the device edges, especially to the top of the device, to the notch as we have it here. And that's the save area view.